Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I'm TechnoTuner. I'm a new Yu-Gi-Oh! YouTuber just starting up. I play a little bit of casual, I play a little bit of meta. But at the end of the day, I'm here to have fun. Today, I'm bringing to you DarkWorld Fabled, or Fabled DarkWorld, however you like to say it. This is a fun deck that I put together for a Yu-Gi-Oh! RPG I'm running with friends. And it's not really competitive, but it's actually a lot of fun. There's a lot of different routes that you can do, a lot of different things that you can definitely end up with on the board. Sometimes it's just one card, and the other times it's 4 or 5. But yeah, let's hop right into it. So we're gonna start off with the Dark World cards, of course. For that, we start off with 3 Brow, Huntsman of the Dark World. This card's discarded to the graveyard by card effect. Of course, draw 1 card, but if it's discarded by an opponent's card effect, you draw 2 instead. All right, then, of course, we're searching for our next one, which is Genta, Gateman of the Dark World. This guy, you basically just discard, add 1 Gates of the Dark World from your deck to your hand. If this card's banished and you control a Dark World card, you can special summon this card from the banish zone. It's a great extender. It definitely helps the deck out a lot. Up next, we do have Snow. This is basically our 1 searcher monster that we utilize a lot through the Dark World combo. As you know, if Snow's discarded, basically you just get to look for 1 Dark World card in your deck and add to your hand. But yeah, it's a real fun card to use. Up next, one of the classics, Silva. He's just a big body in this case. And then if it's discarded by an opponent's card effect, you get to return 2 cards from their hand to the bottom of their deck in any order. So if that does trigger, especially through your Grapha Fusion, it is one heck of a good control board state. Of course, you can't really play big Grapha without the little Grapha. Grapha, of course, he's our popper, he is our big boy, and our way to bounce Dark World monsters that we don't necessarily want on the board back to hand. So, for example, if you want to be able to search for Gates to the Dark World again next turn, and you have a Genta on board, but you have Grapha in the grave, all you gotta do is special summon Grapha by bouncing back Genta to your hand, and then you have him for next turn. I do play a little differently. Not everybody likes him. I honestly prefer the design and really like this card in general. It's gold. Wu Lord of the Dark World. He is just a great back row removal, and he's a 2300 body. It's a lot of fun to use. All right, so that's our Dark World cards all right there. Finally, we're getting into the Fabled package. So we have Fabled Marcosia. Basically, to special summon him, you have to discard up to 2 monsters, including another Fabled monster, and then you get to special summon them from your hand. This can help trigger off your Dark World cards and your Fabled monsters. So, in this case, if he is discarded, you basically get to add 1 Fabled spell or trap from your deck to your hand. He's a lot of fun. He's great utility. And he can actually be kind of beefy for a starter level 4, going up to at least 2100. If I remember correctly. Yep. All right. Now, what would we do without a searcher? Well, thankfully, we do have that. That's Fabled Grimrow. As long as you control a Fabled monster, you can discard her from hand to search for another Fabled monster to add to hand from your deck. All right. Now, you're like, okay, well, we got basically 6 Fabled cards, but no tuners. And Fableds are all synchros. Well, for this, we basically run 3 Fabled Cerebral, 1 Abonk, and 1 Kushano. Now, Cerebral is just a free summon if it's discarded, and it's a great level 2 tuner and extender. Abonk is if we need something in the graveyard just to enable us to get a free discard, and it's a tuner, it's an additional plus. Then finally, there's Kushano. Great recursion for discarding cards that are Fabled monsters. This is the reason why I play the next card, Fabled Crus. Fabled Crus is basically if this card is discarded to the graveyard, target 1 other level 4 or lower Fabled monster in your graveyard, special summon it. So if you have Kushano in hand, if you have Kushano in graveyard plus another Fabled monster that's level 4 or lower and Crus in hand, what you can do is go Kushano effect, discard Crust, get back Kushano to hand, and then Crust will trigger in a new chain to allow you to summon another Fable monster from graveyard. It's great to get more bodies on board. It's a great way to get interaction going. Finally, the one tech card I do play is Salamander Catalyzer. It's a great discard outlet, lets you get and go through different things. So if you need to discard a Fiend or a Fabled or a DarkWorld card, it's a great way to continue on with that. Now, for the spells, we got, this is going to look weird to most people, but I play 3 Gates of the DarkWorld. Of course, it's a DarkWorld deck. You need ways to draw your cards and discard them. Gates is a great way of doing that. Second of all, we have Stairway to a Fabled Realm. Now, a lot of people look at this as like, okay, so what does this card actually do? Well, this is one way to get a bonk into your graveyard. The other is if you need any other Fabled card into your graveyard, but you need to discard 2 of your Fabled monsters or anything else in your hand to really get it back into your hand and into play. So what you can do is you can target 1 Fabled monster in your graveyard, discard 2 cards, and then add that monster to your hand. If your Fabled monster attacks an opponent's monster and you have less cards in your hand than your opponent, your monster gains attack equal to the difference in number of cards times 200. So if at the end of the combo, you're usually setting with 1 to 0 cards in hand, and your opponent's sitting there with maybe 3 or 4, you've already got maybe anywhere from a 600 to 800 bonus just for your monster cards. All right. Now, given that, we'll move on into our searchers. Of course, DarkWorld will play 3 Dark Corridor. It's a fun little tech. It works great for getting your DarkWorld stuff going. Basically, it's add 1 DarkWorld monster from your deck to your hand, then discard 1 card. If you pair this with Brow, you are basically just drawing a free card. Or if you use Snow, you're getting a free search. It's really nice. Next, we have DarkWorld Dealings. Yes, you're giving your opponent card, but your opponent a card, but you're also forcing them to discard a card, which is also letting you do the same. In this deck, it's a very good extender because with that interaction, you can trigger off, say, gold to pop a spell or 2. You can get Grapha into the graveyard. Basically, it's a way to keep going. Finally, we have 2 DarkWorld Ascension, 1 Charge into the DarkWorld, and 1 DarkWorld Archives. So, for DarkWorld Ascension, it's a really good card because overall, it treats your DarkWorld monsters, if they're in hand, as being discarded. So if you fusion summon from hand, it treats them as being discarded as material. So that's the great part about it. You can trigger off your DarkWorld card effects by using this fusion card. Finally, you have DarkWorld Archives. It's just a great way to get your DarkWorlds in play and not being dead in your hand without a discard outlet, while also giving all your DarkWorld monsters the attack equal to the level of the discard monster it had, times 100. But yeah, and then Charge into the DarkWorld, or into a DarkWorld. It's just another way to discard a 1 Fiend monster, so it could be either Fabled or a DarkWorld, and continue on with combo, and then allows you to special summon 1 level 4 or lower Fiend from your graveyard. So that could be any Fabled main deck monster or really a level 4 or lower DarkWorld. Finally, we play the 1 Fabled Treason. This one's just a fun tech that I run. You get to target 1 Fabled monster in your graveyard, and 1 face-up card on your opponent's side of the field. Discard 1... No? Okay, never mind. I was incorrect. Target 1 face-up card on the field, so it could be either side. Discard 1 card. You special summon the Fabled monster from your graveyard. If you do, destroy that card on the field. It's a great way to keep going with that and just proccing other effects. All right. Finally, we have the extra deck. This is where it gets a little weird and nutty, but it's a lot of fun to play. First off, we have Area Leader. Of course, that's our way to send a Fiend monster from your deck to the graveyard if you need any of them in there. It's also just a good level 6 fusion. that you can make with one of our monsters that we're going to show later on. Of course, we're playing the 2 Grapha, the 1 Rajan. If you run low on cards and you need to go and you have a level 2 and a level 3 monster on the board, and one of them's a tuner, you can go into Rajan and draw until you have 2 cards in hand. So it gets you basically a little bit more of your resources back and rolling. The real fun one is Fabled and Wraith. I like this one personally because if they discard a hand trap, well, if they discard a hand trap or try to negate the effect by discarding a monster, you get to special summon that monster. But if they don't, you get to draw 2 and then discard 1 card in your hand, which is actually really nice because that, once again, triggers off more of your monster effects. Up next, I play 1 Ancient Fairy Dragon. This card is a little bit nutty unto itself. It's just a great way if you don't want to set there with dead field spell on board and you just want to keep searching for more and be able to get rid of your opponent's field spell as well while giving yourself a little bit more life points. All right, moving on to the higher level synchros. We have Fable Valkyrius, Fable Leviathan, and Chaos Angel. Valkyrius is, once again, card draw. You discard 1 fiend, get to draw 1 card. And that's once per turn. It is not a hard once per turn, it is just a soft once per turn. So if you can revive him back or have him in loop through cycle, it's a great way to keep discarding cards and drawing cards. The second one is Fable Leviathan. He's just a big body at this point. If he does die, you get 3 Fable monsters in your graveyard and get to add them back to your hand. Then finally, there's Chaos Angel. I don't think I really have to speak more on Chaos Angel. It's just a big body that becomes unaffected by monster effects or activated monster effects, and your monsters can't be destroyed by battle if you use light and dark monsters. It's a free banish as well, which makes it a lot better for board removal and board clear. So when it comes down to the 1 tech card that I like to run in this deck because it's funny, the Zombie Vampire, it's actually a good extender. It may allow you to hit a bonk if you get into a bit of a stunt where you're kind of stuck on your board with some monsters that you can't do anything with, or even a Grapha into your graveyard so you can get him onto the board. Up next, we have the Lynx, which is Fiendsmith Sequence, Muckracker from the Underworld, Nightmare Unicorn, and Saryuja Skulldread. Fiendsmith Sequence is great because it allows you to fusion summon directly into one of your fusions, which is Grapha or Air Leader. It lets you go on and continue on with that, even if you don't have the fusion spell. Muckracker allows you basically a free revive of any fiend monster that you have by popping another fiend. It's great continuous, especially if you pop Leviathan. It basically lets you get 3, and then you can revive back another Fabled monster, so you can get and Wraith and potentially draw 2 more cards. Sorry for that. Nightmare Unicorn. It's free spin as long as you discard a card. So basically, with any discard on your monsters, you get a free spin back and search. Saryuja Skulldread. Of course, it's the draw for put 3 back on the bottom, but it's basically a way to get a free special summon and cycle some cards back in and out of your deck. Overall, I hope you guys like this deck profile. To me, it's a lot of fun, and I hope you all really enjoyed. This deck has slowly grown up the ranks into being one of my favorites to play. But if you guys really did enjoy, please go ahead and hit a like and subscribe, and I'll have more content here shortly. Thanks, guys.
Is it okay if I'm to say I'm catching feelings from all the dealings? Am I astray? What do you say? How are you feeling? Is it the same?